Hi, my name is Aksik, aka Annika. Welcome to my channel, where we mostly talk about adult coloring and art materials and art in general and different techniques and whatever pops into my head or what I want to make a video about. And today's video is once again, usually the most popular one of the month, or one of the most popular ones in the month, and that's the finished pages and also WIP-s. Now, my September was not amongst my best months. This year I've been pretty much sick for last 2 weeks or so. It's gotten a bit better, but I'm not, to be honest, yet there. But I am feeling a bit better, and my throat is a bit better and everything. But yeah, I'm still kind of hanging a bit off thread, but yeah, it'll get there eventually. Anyways, because of that, my coloring was a bit haphazard. I kind of did a lot of this easy mood coloring style stuff, which I will show eventually shortly. But first, let's start with my WIP-s. And I am not going to, of course, show you all my WIP-s all together, because that would take a long time and is not a purpose of this video. I kind of pulled out the WIP-s that are either kind of still relevant to me, that I'm kind of still dealing with them, or that are kind of I'm actually working on at the moment. So in this book I essentially have 3 WIP-s. I would really like to get to this one and this one. Both of them I put down mood bases for myself. Both are actually done with ink. I think I found those tiny pots of neon inks, so I put down kind of neon base, and I think it could be cool if I worked on top of it with pencils and possibly with some water-based markers and stuff to kind of use that glowy base and see what's eventually going to happen, because I don't really have a clear picture of that page in my head, but I know it could be fun. And this one would be very kind of muted, maybe use harmonious pencils and stuff like this. But then there's also this page, which I might have to declare a forever WIP, because I do not like where it's going. I just don't get a picture in my head when I'm looking at it. I don't know why, something about those shapes, I just can't make sense of it. Maybe I'll get to it, but it might be that I will abandon this one altogether, which is, it happens, not every page that I start needs to, or always does, become a finished page. Then I have this book that I saw on Maja's channel, colored by Maja. She got it from Creative 6, or Get Creative 6, something like that. It's the publisher name, and I liked the art so much when I watched her channel, and I liked what she was doing in it. And I am coming to the sad conclusion that although I do like the art a lot, for me it's not a kind of intricate pencil coloring book. It's more so almost flat coloring, kind of a bright, maybe gel pens and that sort of a book. So I do like the book a lot, but I just don't seem to get it. Like, I managed to, this is one of my WIP-s, and I absolutely hate what I've done here. It's probably once again gonna end up as a forever WIP, because I don't know where to go from there. The combination that I put down here is pretty but it's some watercolors, metallic watercolors, and there's some gel pens, and that's pretty much it. But I'm kind of stuck book. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I'm ever going to finish this page. Maybe I will, but I will finish the next page, and this is the page that I'm actually working on. And now in this one, I kind of went for this kind of folky style, you know, kind of bright colors, you know, strong background that brings everything forward. And this one I think might actually become fun. This is the page I'm actually working on at the moment, and I want to kind of finish it. And it's just gel pens so far, there's nothing else here. So and I probably will just use gel pens. I'm not going to put, like, this is a book where I don't really want to put much pencil down. I might, you know, in some tiny detail somewhere for, you know, if I want to accentuate something specifically, but I would prefer only work with gel pens or acrylic markers or that sort of a style, because it's very kind of folk art style for me, you know, and it could be really cool pages if I let myself just work with bold flat color. So yeah, I like this book, but I'm still kind of getting it, or trying to get it. This one is going to be a very fast one. I still haven't got to it, and I planned to, but I was not in neat portrait mood, especially now, you know, for the last half of the month. Maybe, you know, eventually I'll get there. I do like, you know, where I'm going here, but I need to be in this style of a page mood, and I haven't been. Then this one, once again, love the art. He would be on Instagram as well with the same name, at Tunnelwood. And I really like the art. This book has now been popping up on different channels, and I've had it, you know, for a little while. I haven't got to it. Once again, you know, I haven't really been sure what I'm going to do with it. But I did try. This is not actually that I'm considering much of a WIP. It's more so that I was trying out, you know, how different media works in it. I did discover here, I tried a couple of flowers with water-based markers, and they went immediately through, you know, just one layer, and they were through for me. So I tried this, you know, working it, just dissolving. It's because I don't really like that page that much. I don't know if I'm ever going to finish it. But I was trying out things on this page to be finally able to kind of decide what I'm going to do in this book and what stuff I can use. And so I used here washing out acrylic markers, and that does work to some extent. I think the best things for this book probably would be, yeah, oil pastels, and also possibly gouache, or just acrylic paint would look, you know, cool in here. So yeah, I would like to get playing in this book because art is cool there. This one book is called Princess Coloring Book, the Buster Activity. The artist is Anne Kronheimer, and I like, you know, the art is really fun and cute, and, you know, there's different scenes. Okay, they're all princesses, but, you know, they're all kind of from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different time periods. There's some really fun images here. And the paper I thought would be good for paper as well, water as well, because, you know, it kind of feels like it might take water, but it does not actually take water well. It kind of breaks into these dots. If you put water in it, you can see like this kind of textured dots. But that's fine, you know, it's a fabric, so I will get over it. I did try here acrylic markers, brush markers, you know, washed out, you know, added some shading as well, same story, washed out. The background was done quite a long time ago when I got the book. I put some metallic acrylic marker there. I will probably leave it as is. And also, if, you know, watercolor, the way I was using it, you know, fairly wet, went through pretty extensively. So water probably isn't the best method working in here, but, you know, I had to try. I might try different watercolors to see how they work. But yeah, kind of working on it Eventually I'll get to it, hopefully. Just to finish one image and then get cracking. So in this book I have, well, this WIP has been there for a while, but I haven't really done anything with it. It's kind of been a bit stagnating here, but I have moved along tiny bit with that one. I put kind of color base down, and I was planning to kind of start coloring it very soon. I thought the color scheme actually looks nice. Might be interesting result. It's water-based markers here, a base, and the background is acrylic markers just washed out on the paper. Okay, and the last WIP, well, it's barely even a WIP. I just started on this page. I quite, recently, a day or two ago, I just felt like putting down a bit of color, so I just put down some flat water-based marker, and I probably will need to put down second layer as well. There is a very thin layer of satin glazing here to kind of strengthen the page a bit, and that I can do background with water-based marker, big area like that. If it wasn't down, I wasn't even able, wouldn't even be able to do it, that batchily, but still, fairly solid. But I need to put another layer top on here. And then, like, this is pretty much established, kind of, the beginnings of the color scheme for me. I wanted weird skies. This has been my thing lately, kind of, quite a bit of mad colors. Okay, so let's start now. This is enough of my WIP-s. And as you could see, there's nothing really exciting there in the WIP-s at the moment. I suspect that I might be, starting some new pages that are actually exciting me more. And there's some WIP-s in the books that, as I go along here with finished pages, I might, come across some other WIP-s in some books that I will show. Now, I finally got rid of the coloring planner that I bought, the Amanda Colors coloring planner, whereas I do appreciate her effort, and it's has everything that you could wish for. It's just not for me. I am not enough of a planner. It's just a lot of wasted space, and all I really use is a couple of pages for finished pages. So I got myself this notebook. Isn't it the coolest notebook? Look at that, the foiling and the badgers. I love the badgers. And look, it's a magnet. Isn't that just the sweetest? And I'm just going to go. Basically, I'm going to write down pages, and if there's anything, for the specific month I need to color, write down, I will put that in here as well. But essentially, I mostly just will be writing down pages here, and this way, this will last me a long time, and I won't have wasted space here. Maybe a little bit, because here I kind of left myself a page to make some notes, which I haven't gotten to yet, and maybe I won't, but the option was there. Anyways, so this is going to be my little helper, and let's start looking at the books. So the first book is here, and this was pretty much the last video on my channel, the previous video on my channel. I got that when I saw it on Jackie's channel, Spare Room Studio. And she bought it because the portraits here are kind of nice and big, that sort of a large portraits. So it's kind of perfect for mixed media and oil pastels and kind of, quick, fun works. And she was right. So I actually had one page based with satin glazing, but I ended up going for a different page, and I picked out this page to do with oil pastels. The whole process is on my channel, how I did it. The background is done with Mongio, so oil pastels, you know, both the kind of the blends of the green blends here and the kind of ochres and browns, the kind of aged blends here in the background. And the portrait itself is mostly done with Pentel oil pastels. These are these ones. They are a lot slimmer and a lot harder, and I basically kind of use them almost like pencils, only it's kind of, it goes way faster and, you know, is of course less controlled. It kind of forces you to be a bit more kind of loose and painterly, and you know, leave some strokes in, and I think it came out fun. And then I used for, you know, kind of final detailing some brush markers, acrylic brush markers, sorry, and acrylic pen, white, you know, in the eyes and in the highlights, and a tiny bit of gold acrylic marker, acrylic pen, sorry, again, you know, those are the golden, metal golden shine markers. What a name. They're by Fleicy, they're very nice. They actually work pretty reliably, you know. And then I splattered the background, kind of those cheap metallic watercolors from Temu, different colorways, like there's some red and orange and gold here. So I think, you know, if you splatter watercolors like this, you know, if you do the splatter, I think it always looks more fun, better and more interesting if you do a variety of colors that are kind of, you know, kind of close to each other. So, you know, I think you get deeper and more interesting effect. Anyways, I like how it came out, and I am planning to work in it soon again. I have quite a lot of portraits here that I can play with. So that. And then next two books that are actually kind of one of those quirky, funny finds. Where are we? Okay. These ones I saw on a channel called October Cat. Maja, colored by Maja, brought that channel to our attention, and I went to check out. Love her work, amazing. Kind of mixed media, you know, pretty much give her anything, whatever she tries, it comes out interesting and fun and super creative. So I saw these books on her channel, and they're not actually coloring books, and somebody has managed to get some paint onto one of the covers. This happens to my books. It's just the way of life. They are basically like factoid books. You know, they are by Maja Säfström. I think it's Säfström or something like this. I think she's Swedish. It's translated from Swedish. And there's kind of different animals and kind of fun facts about them with, you know, kind of this style of an art. And some of it is kind of very black like this, but some of them, you know, or like this pure line art, or like this. This is very black. But you can play with colors here. Watercolor lays down very well here. And I have, for example, you know, tried also Pablo pencils here. For some reason, you know, these are the pencils that I went for. I'm getting a bit closer so you can see better. And Pablo pencils liked this paper fantastically, like really loved, or any pencil I've tried in here goes down super well, which is, you know, kind of almost surprised me. But they're really fun books. So this is kind of animals that existed sometime, you know, ages and ages ago, and they're not around anymore. And there's some really kind of cool fun stuff, and I go kind of mad with colors here. I'm gonna show it in a minute. And this book is just, you know, illustrated animal facts. There's one more book of hers that I kind of want to get as well, but I haven't really found it because they're not super easy to find. This is the name of the artist, Maja Säfström. Säfström, I think, possibly you have to pronounce it, but Säfström, like this. And but I think she has one more that is like baby animals or something, possibly. Anyway, I want that one as well, but I haven't really been able to find it because they're really cool. And the paper is fantastic. Really nice paper. And I like the format. It's kind of like A5 format, almost A5, not exactly A5. Where is my Wise book here? You know, this would be A5. So they're kind of even smaller, slightly smaller, but wider than A5. And I found them really therapeutic and easy when you're super tired or sick and your brain doesn't really work well, but you want to put down some color, just, you know, work. So I worked in them like this. So essentially this is watercolor. I put down watercolor base, and you can see, you know, how I was able to, you know, wash things out. And I was combining, like, for example, here, some metallics, you know, random spots on this creature who is called Dickinsonia costata, which was a very primitive water creature, which actually never stopped growing and could grow to a size of a full-grown man, apparently. And I used here watercolor, I used here gel pens, acrylic gel pens. I think I used the clickable ones, the 0.7 ones from Langua. And then I splattered afterwards some watercolor, and I also splattered some white ink. And I think, you know, it looks cool, and it was super easy, super relaxing. And, you know, you get kind of easy wins in this book so well. Just, you know, put down some color, some gel pens, splatter some paint, there you go. And that's another creature, Hallucigenia, which is a funny name. Hallucigenia, same story. I've used, you know, it's Chinese watercolors as well, you know, those cheap ones in small boxes. So I used that as a base here, you know, everywhere. But I did go on top a tiny bit with Pablo pencils here as well. Just, you know, put some tiny bit of shading down. It's very little. And once again, I've splattered watercolor. I've used some gel pens, some metallic markers to make those dots on its back sparkle, and some white acrylic ink. Did I have something else here? Oh, I also had this Charovipteryx. Yeah, and the same story. This one was actually based with water-based markers. You know, I just scribbled down some colors onto a cutting mat and picked them up with a water brush and put down the base. And then once it was dry, I put on top some Pablo pencils, very little, like, you know, very subtle shading. No heavy work here. And then I also splattered on top some metallic watercolors to create, you know, more atmosphere here in this dark background, because they look almost, you know, metallic watercolors look always awesome in the black background like this. So I think it, you know, came out a really cool page, like minimal effort. And this one is a WIP, another WIP here. I've started it, but I haven't gotten anywhere yet. I put down shapes of plants behind it, kind of, you know, kind of crude, very simplified, kind of naivistic shapes. And I will, you know, kind of go in with colors eventually, you know, when I feel like it. But yeah, that's a WIP here. I don't think there's any more WIPs here. Oh yeah, this WIP also. I haven't gotten anywhere with it yet. It might stay like this, or I might put a bit of shading in. I don't even know how to pronounce that. I really don't. But it looks fun. Anyways, I just keep, you know, when I feel like putting some color down, you can do a couple of them during one night. They go fast, they are super relaxing, and I think it gives kind of fun book, you know, even more fun book than it was before. It's already fun with all those, you know, fun little facts. But, you know, by adding that fun color, you're making even more appealing. So, really love the idea. And then this one, the one about animals. Let's see, it had less. Okay, so where did I start with that one? Well, this is the Raven page. Once again, watercolors. Just, you know, put base down everywhere. And then because the birds were already drawn in with black, I added some metallic markers to it to kind of represent the iridescent nature of those black birds, ravens. They light up, you know, in sunlight. They light up in many colors. And then I also put down some water-based marker, and that's about it. After water-based marker, I also splattered some metallic watercolor on it for texture and fun and interest, because I think it suits the style here very well as well. And that's it, you know, that's all I did. And then, oh, there's also Badger, which, yeah, of course I made it. Of course I made it pink and orange and yellow. What did you think I would do with the Badger? And I didn't splatter anything here because I kind of thought, okay, this is kind of like deep earth. I could have, you know, splattered some like bronze or brown stuff onto it, but I just didn't feel it. I just left it as was. Just the Badger. And did I have anything else in there? No, this one I've done a little bit less, but, you know, I'm hoping to, you know, when I feel like it again, or, you know, some evenings when I'm not feeling like doing something really involved or heavy, this is just perfect for just throwing color down, which is what we want to do sometimes. And another one book like this is this one. This is called Birds, the coloring book. It's hardcover, so fancy. The paper is, you know, it's all right. It's Arcturus, and they are using, I think, a kind of Victorian works by, I think the Victorian nature artist, or it's just, there's two artists, H.E. Dresser and John T. Bowen, and, sorry, John James Audubon, and they're both kind of Victorian era artists. So they basically have put their artwork here and then kind of line art next to it, you know, what colors. So I love birds. So I thought, you know, this would be kind of perfect for me sometimes, you know, if I feel like doing a bird or two. It also tells me how that bird looks like. So, because with birds, I would often like kind of, you know, at least get close to what they actually look like. I'm not trying to repeat exactly the artwork. You know, this one is another WIP here, but I haven't touched that one. So I did that one. And I did kind of try to get close with that one. These are once again Chinese watercolors, and if you look at this base here, you know, the tree, the leaves, there's like absolute minimum of pencil here. It's basically this super cheap box. I think it cost me €3. Let me see if I can quickly find it. So this is the box. Watercolors that I used here. These are the ones. I didn't even swatch them because they pretty much look as you see. There's so much kind of, they're pretty much all have some white in them, or, you know, some sort of a agent that makes them more opaque. So you can see pretty much in the pan how the color looks like. So I didn't bother really doing much swatching. And I did all that with these paints. And I got, like, I was seeing if I could get, you know, pretty close to what this, you know, tree trunk looks like, and I think, you know, I managed to get pretty darn close. There's tiny bit of pencil here in the shadow and whatnot because I had trouble getting the watercolor there dark enough in some bits. And then on the birds, the base was like, there's very little, but there is some pencil in the woodpeckers, just to kind of darken the feathers and, you know, make sure that, you know, right colors are in right places. But I was very loose with pencils here. I wasn't trying to be very neat or tidy or anything. I just kind of tried to get kind of close here. So yeah, and there's some gel pens as well. For some reason I felt the need to take the line out on the leaves, and then afterwards I was kind of sorry, but because I think it looked actually better with the line art intact. But you know, it's done. It's done and it's fine, and it was kind of relaxing to just, there's several layers of watercolor here, and you can see the paper actually held, you know, kind of put up with me all right. It did go through, you know, if paper was wet and I kept adding on to wet, you know, in the places where the paper was already wet and I kept adding paint, it did go through a couple of places, yeah, but it doesn't really matter to me. It's essentially one side, it's just a tiny bit leaking through here. I can still see, you know, the reference on the other side should I need it. So yeah, I'm quite happy I was able to work with watercolors. They are very opaque watercolors though. So that one was that. The next thing is this. I thought I got it out of the way. It was basically hovering on my desk for ages. I had been showing, it's just basically a little printout from Coloring Heaven, a Wonderful Wizard of Oz edition by Fabiana Tvere. And I had used that little printout to kind of demonstrate how I wash out acrylic markers. So I had the acrylic marker wash base down, so I just decided to put pencils on top and be done with it, you know, so it wouldn't just, you know, it was on my desk forever. So I just decided to quickly finish it. I wasn't feeling great at the time either, so I did fairly sloppy work here, you know, just kind of finish it. So gel pens, and I don't remember what pencils I used here. I think there were Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils here that I used for kind of adding all the hair and some shading in the flowers and extra kind of color in the leaves, you know, just deepening everything. So yeah, it's done. This is all I can say about this page. And then there's this page when I was playing with oil pastels. Let me now move a bit back so you can see. It was a video basically about oil pastels I have, and I also kind of showed a little bit how I work with them. And now I've lost the page. Of course I've lost the page. Here's the page, and I basically, you know, showed, you know, how it is possible, different ways that you can work with them or blend them or dissolve them. I also showed, you know, what you can do with, you know, baby oil and just blending them with each other here. I did that. I think there was a kind of, I did a short kind of with the sped up, you know, I did that with Pentel. The harder, the smaller oil pastels. These ones are done kind of like bigger, softer oil pastels. So basically everything, yeah. There's tiny bit in the centers. There's tiny bit of acrylic pen, the paint pen, to, you know, bring extra highlights in. But the rest of it is all pure oil pastels, and the background here is an oil pastel as well. And then after I was done, I sealed it all with satin glazing liquid. So that was kind of very easy, very basic work. Basically, I, you know, was demonstrating stuff in the video and I didn't want to leave it unfinished, so basically finished it up. Now, next thing is one of my favorite books that I have. It has amazing paper which takes everything from watercolor to pencils fantastically. Love the artwork. It's all different dogs and dog breeds. This is one of my favorite works from this year, I think, but this is not this month's. And this is this month's work. It's Yorkshire Terrier. And here it seems to be running in the moors. Here you go. I'm getting a bit closer as well. This one was finished in the period when I didn't write much down at all. I don't remember, like I wasn't really feeling up for anything except maybe sitting down occasionally and doing tiny bit of coloring. So I don't really remember everything, but I know that for a base I used different watercolors. I think there were those Chinese watercolors as well. Wooden boxes, they come in wooden boxes from Tmall. And the background here was done, the sky is done with acrylic marker. It's a blend of 2 markers. And the clouds are done with acrylic wash. Kind of mixing colors together. And then the rest of it was based with Chinese watercolors. And then I have on top of it light fast pencils. And I think I'm pretty sure it's just light fasts. I don't think I put graphitins. Or do I kind of have this faint memory that I might have put some graphitins into the stones as well, but I think it might have been just light fast pencils in the shading here. And the fur, of course, is done mostly with light fasts. And for this one, I didn't even open the beak set. I think I only had the 36 set. I have a box of 36 that came out before the beak set, the 100 set came out. So I just used that 36 set for doing all the shading and everything here. And the coloring. So really, really, really fun. Love the dog. And now I have to pick next page here, because this book is just, every page is awesomeness. And everything, every media pretty much. The paper is just beyond fantastic. It's thick, it's lovely for pencils, it's lovely for paints. Yeah, a perfect book. So it's huge. It's by Gustave Auguste. I don't know if you can see Gustave Auguste. And it's called Aventure Fantastique. It's kind of fantastic adventures from, you know, what my poor knowledge of French tells me. And is it now in the focus? I hope it is. Okay, so I finished a page here that was in a WIP status for a long time. So I finally, oh, it's still. Okay, now you should be able to see it. It's really big, this book. I just have to keep lifting the camera, and then afterwards I have to pull it back. So yeah, it's huge. It's basically 12 by 12 book. And this one had a base of a different watercolors, and then there's a lot of different metallic markers. As you can see, if I move it, everything glistens. And I do not remember, I think it's chroma flow pencils. I think, yeah, I'm like 80% sure, because I once again didn't write anything down. But I think, yeah, pretty sure it was chroma flow pencils that I did all the finishing. I did only use one set. I wasn't kind of switching between pencils here. And then there's, of course, Langlois gel pens and such. But if I bring it to you, closer to you, then you can see a bit more detail. So that's what it's like. There's a lot of different sparkly stuff, and there's even some metallic watercolor. Here you go. And it took quite a while to finish because of all the shading. And I wanted to create slight marble effect with these stairs, and I think it actually looks better in real life, or looks more marble-like than it actually looks in camera. So you just have to trust me that it came out pretty all right. Then this one and this page. Let me come a little bit closer now. And I did here a mistake. One thing that I messed up, I actually like what I did in the middle, but I messed it up by using, I should have used, the background wasn't black, but I wanted it to be black to kind of make it really nice and boosted, you know, the colors and bring everything forward. And what happened was that I used ink, acrylic black ink, instead of, you can see how it's gone through as well. Used acrylic black ink instead of paint, or maybe acrylic marker, or maybe just paint, or alcohol marker black. And what happens is it really buckled the page, like really buckled the page, and it made it kind of shiny, so it now kind of interferes, and it kind of ruined the whole look of the page, which really annoys me. But the page itself came out fun. Once again, I didn't write down pencils at this stage much, but it's alcohol marker base, and then there's pencils on top, and I think it was kind of a variety of pencils, and there's of course different gel pens as well. And I think it came out fun. It's just, you know, this background kind of ruins it for me. So I'm kind of annoyed with myself that I did this. But not gonna learn. I won't do that again, at least in Amazon book. Now, my favorite books that I've been... Oh, actually, this one here is coming next. I also have a page here. And this is the page. It's really cute because Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf met in a magical clearing where giant mushrooms served the seats. With smiles on their faces, they shared laughter and dreams while making plans to explore new places. I just love that little twist on the Red Riding Hood, that, you know, the friends. And this one took me a while to finish. When it was towards the beginning of the month, you know, after I got this book, because I really like the art in this book. And I based first it with satin glazing liquid to kind of strengthen the page, because I know I use quite a lot of different media and fair bit of kind of wet stuff here as well. And then the background I did with acrylic markers. I think it's the Longo set, the Dusky Blues, and I did first kind of washed out, you know, wash in the background with kind of light in the middle, and then I put different tree shapes and foliage in, you know, lighter tones. I took the marker with a water brush from directly from the kind of marker itself, and, you know, created the background here, and I built the background to forward, you know, where the trees. There were actually a couple of trees drawn here, so these ones I did with these dark colors. But I think the background came out really fun. And then everything, I think, from what I remember, I based with washed out acrylic markers at first, and then I put pencils on top. And there's pretty sure I used Prismacolor pencils here mainly for, you know, on top of acrylic wash, and then of course, you know, gel pens to just add random highlights because I felt like it, you know. There's kind of neon glow on the wolf and on the Red Riding Hood, and the mushrooms are glowing underneath. And I, for some reason, decided to do the dots on the mushrooms with this kind of a, I don't even know what effect it is, but I felt like doing that effect, you know, just to make it look a bit more cool and 3D. And yeah, it took me ages because there were so many different elements that I decided to do, you know, different things with, you know, so many little details and things here. But I'm really happy how it came out. I really like the result. And, you know, please now note that this is, there's quite a lot of like washes on this page. There's washed out acrylic markers, you know, there's the layers and layers of different washes in the background here, because first I did like big wash, with just, you know, kind of to put the base down. Then I kind of deepened that, you know, put a second layer of wash down. Then I did different, you know, wet washes here in the background for the foliage and for the distant trees. And this is Amazon paper, and this is crappy Amazon paper. This is UK Amazon paper. But because I put the satin glazing down here, I was able to do quite a lot of, you know, tricky stuff and fairly involved stuff. And it held up. So I was pretty impressed. Yeah. Like that result. And now my 3 books that I have been I'm stuck to. So this is my animals, dinosaurs, unicorns. I just can't get away from these books, and I don't think I will. Maybe in October I might do different style of stuff, but really love these books and can't stop working in them. Adore them. They are fantastic. The art is fantastic. The paper is fantastic. Just love it. So this one, okay, it also has one of the WIP-s, but I haven't shown. Like, this is the WIP, probably the page I'm going to work next. And the page I finished here is this one. Kind of a giraffe scene. I went a bit overboard with the water. I'm not sure about the water, though it kind of looks cool. So yeah, the base is, oh gosh, I think it's watercolor base. Yeah, pretty sure it was watercolor base. And then, yeah, there were White Nights watercolors. And the background, the sky was just 2 layers of acrylic marker. And then the top of it, you know, all those blends on top of it, kind of the interest in the skies, the darker top, and, you know, kind of color variations, I put down with oil pastels and blended up. So, and then afterwards, you know, once I put it down, I put quick layer of satin glazing down only on these areas, you know, where there was oil pastels, so I wouldn't smear it all over the page, and it worked fine. I was able to work on top with pencil and everything, you know, because I had to do the birds afterwards, because I pretty much went over them with oil pastels. It was impossible to go around them. But because the satin glazing was down, I was able to shade the birds as well. And the pencils I used here, this one I might actually have pencils written down. Giraffes on purple. Pablo pencils. Oh yeah, that's something I actually wanted to say, surprisingly. Like, remember I talked about those small books and how Pablo's went down like a dream in these. This was now, on this paper, I did not love the Pablo pencils. They were alright, like I could work with them, but, you know, it's not one of my favorite papers for them. Surprisingly, because pencils usually go down, or, you know, most pencils go down really well, but I didn't love Pablo's on this. But, you know, I managed to do it still fine. And this one I did, you know, if I put down that much different media and everything, I do spray them afterwards, you know, those heavy multimedia pages with my Winsor & Newton fixative. That's also workable fixative. This yellow label one, you can actually put pencil on top of it once after you've sprayed the page. It's not going to be exactly the same as paper, but you can still work on top with pencils. Was that it at this book? I think it was, yeah. You know, there's some other, you know, random things that I've kind of started and haven't gotten anywhere, but I think in this book I only finished 1 page this month. Yeah, just making sure, because, you know, I'm constantly seem to be working in these books, so I'm kind of losing the thread. And in this one, once again, I still have this WIP, which I plan to put something. I need to sort out the background first because I don't like it, so I will probably put something to the stencil. Some gold was suggested to me, so I might try that. But this is not the page I dealt with this month. I finished this page, very simple. Once again, White Nights watercolors. I had them out, so I put the bases down for several pages. White Night watercolors. And what did I use for pencils? There's pencils on top of here as well, but I kind of didn't go over both the pencils. It's fairly light pencil work. That's Black Edition pencil, and you know those sparkly, really sparkly areas here, because I love to put sparkle in these pages as well, just to kind of mix media. They're truly mixed media. These are also Alchemist EU paints. Look at, you know, the sparkle and the centers of the flowers and the hooves of the unicorn, and the horn also is super shiny. So had fun. Oh, there's some sparkle on the birds as well. I don't know if you can see that, but it's there. So, and of course gel pens, acrylic gel pens. I think they were the clickable ones again, the 0.7 millimeter ones from Langua. And now to my last book, and I could finally be getting there. There wasn't even that many pages that I managed to talk. And Dinosaurs book, for some reason, like, I didn't actually fancy that book at first the best, you know, when I saw it. But for some reason, it really works for me. So I love, you know, doing pages here. This is another page I finished here this month. Just background is 2 layers of Guangno acrylic brush marker. I put those backgrounds down when I was comparing different brush markers, you know, how opaque they are and how the finish is. And obviously you can see Guangna is a fair bit shinier. The reason it looks kind of textured and kind of weird, the page are kind of banged up, is because I was using here on this page, you know, those acrylic markers by Langua for washing out, that you had to press onto. So basically I banged up the page at the back. You can almost see the marker, you know, the lines when I was pressing down to get the color out and then wash it out. So you know, that's why it doesn't look great, you know, the background, because I have pretty much ruined the paper surface here. But the background was done, these were done with watercolors. Pretty sure it was watercolors. Let me see if I wrote it down. Oh, it's based, not watercolor, it's actually Karat watercolor pencils that by Stadler that I used for basing, and then some Graffy tint for the rocks. I used these for the rocks, and color blend pencils, or that's Spectrum Noir color blend pencils, are on top for doing all the shading. So it's kind of hard to show because it tends to kind of shine. It's color blend pencils being fairly waxy pencils. You kind of have to tilt the page a little so you could get, or, you know, also there's an option to do this in a daylight, but I just don't have time to film my videos during the day since I'm at work. So I have to kind of work like this. And yeah, there's gel pens here as well, you know, to do, put the white into the water and do the splatters here, you know, to create these effects. And the shading is all done with, you know, extra shading on top of the watercolor pencils is done with color blend pencils. So it's a really simple page, but fun, and I like doing it. And there's another small page which is just pencils, and I think, was it Black Edition? Yeah, Diplodocus Mom and Baby. And it was, oh, I did this bit here. That tree here is done with color blend pencils, just pencils and paper. There's no base on this page. Nothing here is based, it's just pencils. The background is Langua, a colorful black brush marker, green, and the dinosaurs are just pencils, and then some metallic markers, you know, to add some shiny bits everywhere, and some, I think there's tiny bit of gel pen here as well, here and there, and those stripes on the back are done with metallic watercolors. So it's a very kind of simple page. But I just loved, you know, and I, once again, like, the Faber-Castell Black Edition went down really nicely on this paper, and it was lovely to kind of mix and blend it. And then this page is the main page, that I think is one of the kind of biggest pages of this month, or, you know, the most complicated pages of this month. Now, this is pretty much, oh gosh, I think it was based mostly all with different Chinese watercolors, different sets. You know, those cheap sets, some of the really small ones, some of the ones that come in kind of wooden boxes. I actually like them on most papers, because coloring books, because they're slightly opaque, have nice matte finish, and, you know, the pencils worked on top very nicely. And then I did the shading, most of the shading on this page. Pretty much everything here is mostly worked over with pencils. You can see, if I move the page, you know, you can see the pencil sheen pretty much on every element. So it's all worked over with pencils. And except in the mountains and kind of mountains at the back, I only put, I think, pencils at the bottom here. I left just watercolor, you know, the texture there in the background. But mostly everything else is worked over with pencils. And pencils were the Shuttle Art, the black barrel pencils, the ones that come in, do I remember how big the set was? It's a big set, 174 or something like this. And they really work nice here. They, you know, they're soft pencils, you know, they give nice soft blends. And then I have a video on my channel where I filmed, you know, how I finished this page, you know, how I do the detailing at the end, how I add the highlights, or how I add the kind of covering the lines, you know, some textures, you know, dots, you know, what I do and how I do it. So, you know, if you want to check that out, the whole video of that is out as well. So after all the pencil work was done, I basically filmed how I finished things here. So if you're interested, it's there on my channel. So that's it. That's actually, you know, considering it was a bad month for me health-wise and, you know, mood-wise, obviously, because I've been feeling quite nasty. There's quite a lot of pages. I didn't expect there be, you know, there have been some months where I haven't been sick and I didn't have that many pages, and, you know, this month was quite productive, surprisingly so. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you saw some bits you liked, and wishing you all the best. Be healthy, be happy, have loads of creative time. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe. Then YouTube keeps you and other people offering them, and that really helps my channel. So thank you very much, and bye bye.